Hi there, this is me Linda and this is my channel Linda's Mysteries, and today I'm gonna dive into a topic, a question actually, that I received from my follower. I've received these sort of questions multiple times, but this one was really well defined, so I'm gonna answer it for all of you. And the question was, how would you recommend to start reading tarot cards for others? In this case, the person had been already learning tarot cards and reading for themselves for about 15 years. And I hear these stories quite often, that somebody actually has learned tarot either on their own, or maybe they are doing it at the moment or something of sorts, but they're reading only for themselves. But they might have a feeling, they might have, started to sense this calling to perhaps read tarot cards for others. So I'm gonna dive into it now and explain what I would call my tips to start doing that. In case you don't know, I am a professional tarot card reader with 5+ years of experience at this moment in 2023. I actually am one of those cases that started to read tarot cards almost simultaneously for others as I was learning. So my tips are gonna really be connected to my journey and my experience. And in that sense, I hope to inspire you to understand that you can also do it. Okay, let's go in. So if you are one of these cases who really has been reading and learning tarot cards and using them for yourself, it's probably nice and safe for you to do so. You probably feel good about it, you have done the research, you already feel quite nice with the cards, you sort of know them, right? But the interesting part is that if you feel like, oh, I want to read for others, that means you are able to do it. That's one part. And the second part is that perhaps there is a reason why you haven't started to read for others already yet. And it's very important that you find and actually define why you haven't started tarot card reading for others. Really answer this question to yourself as honestly as possible. If needed, take a deep breath in and breathe out, and once again answer the question why you haven't started to read tarot cards for others yet. Whatever is coming up, whatever is bubbling up, the first answers, they are the deepest oftentimes. And you can ask this question for yourself multiple times until your intuition really sparks up and answers it. And that reason is really, really important. It might be even a few. Often it is some sort of fear of maybe feeling responsible for what the people might receive from what you're giving. But there is an important thing to learn there. You are not responsible for how others perceive the information that you are giving. For example, now I'm sitting here and I'm telling you how I view this or that, but everybody who's watching, they're going to experience it in a different way. They're going to take different bits of the information that I'm giving. So inherently, they're making their version of what I'm saying. And that's actually natural. That's how our brain works. So I am not responsible how you receive this information. I am responsible of what I am saying. So that's the responsibility of fear that many might encounter. If you have that fear, dive in deeper and learn everything you can about responsibility in life, in your life, and chances are that's a big topic for you. Go into it. It's important. Taking back our own responsibility is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Clearly, I have, and I love it, and I will continue to do so. Then another sort of belief that I hear quite often is that maybe you need to learn for X amount of years to be able to teach or read tarot cards for others or whatever. And I've heard that somebody says that they need to learn for 30 years to teach tarot or read tarot cards for others or whatever. I have heard that somebody thinks it's a few years. It really depends on whom you have talked to or your own personal, opinions, or maybe you base it on the fact that usually you need to study a long time in other sciences and things to get a degree. Maybe that's the connection. But it's really important for you to understand, if you think like that about tarot, you are probably missing out on an important part. Tarot cards are symbols. Like the cards themselves, they visually have symbols all over it. They are not supposed to be learned in many ways. Symbols are made by us humans, by our intellect, so that they could be recognized almost instantly in an inherent way in our brain system that we don't even consciously often think about. For example, one of the biggest symbols on this world is a ring. I have a few today, and especially the ring on a specific finger can mean something. That's a symbol. And in this case, I'm actually not married, but I wear it on that part because I decided to marry myself. And that's how I use this symbol, for example. So symbols are there intuitively, naturally, and through our mind's ability of all the information it has received so that we are here. It actually is able to translate many symbols. It's quite natural. I'm not saying you have to understand hieroglyphs. I'm not saying you have to, from nowhere, know Egyptian symbols or things like that are also on some tarot card decks. But I am saying that you don't have to know all symbols to be able to translate tarot. And many get stuck in that idea that they have to know things before they use them for themselves or for whatever divination purposes, like reading cards for others. I personally think that because there is this natural symbol connectedness for us, and you can read tarot cards intuitively, which is how I do it, that for me means that you are able to attain the information that you need from the cards in a reading, even if you don't know all the symbols in your card, even if you don't know all the 78 or even more or less cards that you have in your deck. I actually like the challenge of not knowing cards. I like to have a new deck and use it in a reading before I know it fully. I will not do it with all decks, but I like that sort of a challenge as a tarot card reader. So I know that there is a way around it, and I understand that this sort of thought that I have to learn X to be able to do Y doesn't always allow you to start just doing. And here's the important bit. If you just read tarot cards, can you really do it wrong? And this is often a feeling, a thought that we have in our brains, that we can do it wrong. I don't know if we can do it wrong or not, because it is inherently using a deck of cards that we just use to share information, share questions, share thoughts, share stories that we see in the cards, try to translate sort of these symbols into a meaningful thing. So I don't think there's a wrong or a right, so I'm quite open to whatever things are coming up, and I feel that what is important is always gonna be, you will notice it, and the other person for whom you're reading will also notice it. What I can say though is that practicing the reading actually does get you to a level where you feel confident and you feel more sure to share truly in a eased way, where your ego doesn't have to participate too much. So I don't think that somebody who doesn't know full-on tarot cards can't read them. I think everybody can do it. I think everybody can do it. It's like just looking at an association and art and trying to explain it. I kind of see it like that. And so with that you have defined whatever fears or beliefs or whatever you have that are stopping you, start to question them. Please, just question everything. Honestly, in this life, this is one of the best advices I can give to you. Just question things. Question your thoughts, question your beliefs, question what others have said, question what I am saying, feel what is true for you at this moment in time. And if some of your thoughts and beliefs actually don't help you to get somewhere, you can also question them, and you can choose a new belief if you want. That's up to you. That's fully up to you what you do with that. So once you have this definition of what is stopping you, second, of course, is to deal with it. And there are so many ways how you can heal whatever is coming up for you. And it's kind of important that you are allowing yourself to discover these things, because it might be a deeper healing. It might not just be just about tarot. It might be something else. And often these sort of practices like tarot tools and others come in our lives when we are ready to be more mindful, to go deeper, to start to use our mind in a new, very creative way that is maybe not so useful in regular work market or somewhere else. So this is a very different sort of learning. This is not specifically learning like in masculinity, where you have to know very specific things coming one after another so that you can build upon it. This is more feminine. This is intuitive. This is trying to allow different things to sort of exist at the same time. Tricky to describe, but I hope you get the feeling of what I'm trying to give. It's more of a flowing thing. So once you have also dealt with whatever you are feeling, it might be that you start to understand more and more, which is my third tip for you, to really define why you would want to read tarot cards for others. Like, truly write down all the reasons. Why do you think you want to give it to others? What would they be getting out of it? Are you willing to help the world? Do you want to help one person? Is there an agenda behind it? Maybe you just want to have it as a side job and earn some money. That's an option too. Or maybe you just love to do it. Maybe you find it fun. Maybe you just want to do it for friends. In that sense, you can define why you want it, because once you have that definition, you can decide and understand what is your intention behind the tarot card reading. And the truth is, for everything in life, we have an intention behind things. Often we are not very consciously aware of it, but subconsciously there is an intention. For example, I really like some person and I want to become really close friends with them. Why do I feel like that? Perhaps because I think part of my subconscious feels that I would be really loved by that person, because maybe we have very similar views and beliefs. That could be a reason, right? And that intention behind that need for love, which is a normal human need, would be the driving force for it. And once you realize, oh, that is my intention, that is my deep reason for it, you actually can realize, oh, I just want to feel love and connection in general. So you can already give it to yourself in so many other ways as well. So it's quite important to understand the intention, because it is a key to really creating a great tarot practice, that the right sort of people come to you. And I can say very happily that my intention works always, because I intend to teach and give tarot card readings as a self-growth tool, and everybody who comes to me is willing to grow deeply and powerfully. And I love it. It's an amazing job to do. I feel really purposeful doing what I do. Then my last tips. So my fourth tip is, if you still feel like, oh, maybe I'm just not confident enough to just read for others, I would really suggest to maybe find a community that already does it. Meaning, people that already are reading tarot cards, that know some things, but they might be reading for one another. For example, I am doing a tarot reading club where we read tarot cards for ourselves, but we share that. And in that sense, like you express what you are feeling and thinking, But you can also build your own maybe community. Perhaps you can ask a friend, hey, can I do a reading for you? Like, start with these steps that feel a little bit safer to you, so that you can build up your confidence, because reading for others is sort of like maybe building a confidence muscle when it comes to what information you say or don't say. And it's okay if you are not great at the very beginning. You can actually tell the person, hey, I have just started out. You don't have to immediately be a professional. That's not how life works. You get there step by step. And as I said, for example, when I was learning tarot, I actually was reading for other people simultaneously. That was part of how I just learned tarot. So for me, it wasn't even a question of like, can I read tarot cards for others? Because I did it from the first days. Actually, my first ever paying client was my teacher, and she asked to get the reading from me, not the other way around. But either way, like, you could also ask your teacher to maybe connect with you or things like that. You can also offer free card readings online. That's an option too. If you just want to do it with maybe a stranger first, and maybe do some simpler version of readings, like, you know, one card pull or something easy at that point. And I also suggest to maybe join any sort of challenge that is out there. For example, I organize tarot 3-day challenges that are really for the beginners, but by doing so, you meet some other people that also like tarot, and you can, you know, maybe talk to them and do a reading for them, or perhaps do it with the teacher, or offer doing it in a group like that. So you have your options, right? Also, further on, if you have an opportunity to do it in real life, I also suggest it a lot, because maybe it is easier for you to relax then. It really depends on you as your personality, what would make you feel the safest. Try to have those that environment around you that makes you feel safe. And then the fifth, the final, just do it. You are ready, you are enough. And I'm sure that you can read tarot cards for others. As I said, I believe everybody can do it. And I don't think it has to be immediately your job. It can be something that, you know, you just want to give, and you can see where it takes you. And I hope that this video really helped you to get inspired about how, you know, to really start your process of giving your talents of tarot card reading. Or perhaps you just wanted to know my opinion. That's fine too. Either way, if you have any other questions about tarot cards, about the journey, about maybe becoming more professional in it and all, I am open, and as a teacher and as a reader, I really love to answer these questions, because any sort of question I get is a chance for me to really, you know, give you the feedback, give you my story, because it's hard for me to sometimes just know what exactly you would like to receive unless you ask in the comments below or somewhere else on my social media. So I'm very grateful that you have listened so far. Oh my gosh, you did. Well, thank you. And yeah, this is my channel, Linda's Mysteries, and I've created this channel for your most blissful growth. And I will see you next time. Ciao!